just about time. Let's see here. Just got to do a couple other things, and we should be good to go. All right. I guess we'll go ahead and switch over. Might as well. Continue from where we left off last time in this game. Let's make sure that we have some game audio here. Give me 1 second. Oh, come on. Built in. What? No. Use this. Why am I getting pinged? Okay. All right. Refresh. Make sure that the audio is good. All right. So, of course, the goal is bare minimum. Really not trying to put any clothing on. At least not pants. No pants are allowed. Can't put this on. It's not the same, though. Still feels like he's wearing too much. Okay, so yeah, trying to do all shrines, all dragon tiers, all towers. Basically, all the collectibles minus the gold poop, because there's no point in collecting gold poop in this fucking game. You can get through it without unlocking more slots for weapons and other things. It's not needed. It's just a waste of time. Where am I currently? Let's take a look at the map. And in a few moments, actually, you know what? Let's put on some actual music. How about that? And then at some point, I'll put on more of the Lovecraft stuff that I've been listening to. There's one song in particular that's been stuck in my head. See if I can find it here. There it is. Hold on, let's change the pitch. To the ones we... Hell yeah. Ooh, I'm not myself tonight. Alright. Let's take a look at the map and figure out what things I can do at the moment. I'm currently in Tabantha Frontier. Where is Tabantha Frontier? It's somewhere over in that vicinity. I'm around here. It looks like there's stuff down to the south. Okay. So in fact, I will just place a pin right around here. Let's see, I put a pin up north. Over there. Yeah, the red one. We'll go to the red one first. So I'm going to try to get the Master Sword early, which means I'll need at least 20 shrines done, which I think I'm already past, if I'm not mistaken. Fuck, I forgot how to check. Whatever. Make a glass and make a toast to the ones we hate the most. To the ones we hate the most. When your heart has given up and your soul has had enough, make a glass and make a toast to the ones we hate the most. We hate the most. We hate the most. We hate to the ones we hate the most. We hate the most. We hate the most. We hate to the ones we hate the most. happen too. Fuck! Damn it.
Quite well fed.
Hello.
Found someone running IGesus.
Really? AI Jesus? Oh, fuck, my pin went away? Oh, that's so stupid. It is a very slow sword. I probably shouldn't even have that equipped. It's about to... Oh, I thought I had the other one equipped. I'll use this one. It's gonna break very quick, but I don't care. We don't need much. Not in this game. It's all about the
For
skill.
30 hours straight, folk just ask Dumas idea. Like 10 commitments in Minecraft terms, and considers raid as unholy.
Wow. He's a false prophet anyways, who cares? He's just a character in a book. A poorly written book by multiple authors. Actually, you know what? Let's take the high road. Oh, come on, you can run up that. I have no idea where I'm going. I just know that where I need to go is somewhere in that vicinity. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss. Damn it. What's up, bitch? Ow, fucker. Oh, that's fine. Should be getting fairly close to the shrine. There it is. Actually, let's take a rest over here. Right. Let's see, what does Daddy do? I guess to begin. Oh, but I want you. Okay. Okay. Let's think here for a moment. Alright, question now. Where is the key? If I were a key, I would be over there. However, problem. Let's do this. Stick it in. I gotta play with balls. Where do I stick the ball? I stick the ball over here. Okay. Create a ramp somehow. Very awkward ramp. It's not gonna work out too well. But I can't stick it in there. Alright. Just gonna have to get good. Damn. I tried. Try it again. Can I really not stick it in? I could probably bring the thing in. No. Yes. There we go. Stick it in. Alright, that's another one in the books. I'll do one more shrine and then I'll go up top and get some stamina. Whoops, did not mean to hit that button. Oh well. Alright, I guess I'll go visit the yellow site. I'll do it from the tower. I'll fly out there. Actually, what would be smart, even more smart, is get my stamina up now. So that way I can fly out further. That would be smart, wouldn't it? Yeah, let's do that. I don't remember. Where do I get the stamina? Is it the Temple of Time? I think it's time for some Call of Cthulhu. Hold up. Continue off where we left off on that show. Hold up. Speed it up just a little bit here. Don't remember what episode we were on. Episode 4, Season 2, The Whisperer in Darkness, Part 1, I believe. That is not... That's the one. Rewind back just a little bit.
The person I was talking to was an old friend from college who joined the and is currently stationed in the Middle East.
There we
I
go.
can't tell you his name for security reasons, which is also why he couldn't tell me where he was. When Kennedy went missing in Iraq, this was the guy I called to help find him.
Not lost her again, have you?
No, it's actually about something else. But what do you know about Orford Ness?
That's all a bit before my time, mate. Not sure I know anything you could find out for yourself.
I'm just wondering if any part of it is still military.
Just for a story?
Yeah, we've come across a numbers station. Well, kind of, and I just wondered if it could be coming from there.
Okay, so that wouldn't necessarily be military so much as the spooks in Whitehall.
Okay, so we don't know why it would be broadcasting a child's voice spelling out the word Babylon in a mythical angelic language.
Oh, mate, I thought my job was weird. No, I have no idea what that's about. I'd love to tell you it couldn't possibly have anything to do with the intelligence services, but I've met some of those guys, and they're all as mad as badgers, so who knows?
Okay, all right, worth a try.
Always. Your girl got back all right, though, yeah?
Well, she's not my girl, but yeah. She got hit by a scooter. She was out cold in a hospital for a couple of weeks.
You sure?
About what?
Where I work then, we got a daily list of non-Iraqis admitted to hospital. That's one of the first things I check.
Well, maybe she didn't have her ID on her.
Well, then she'd have been flagged as Jane Doe, and I'd have checked it out because I knew you were looking.
But maybe it was just an admin cock-up.
Well, that is more than likely. It's a clown's workshop out here, mate. Anyway, I'm glad she's back safe and sound, and I'm excited for the wedding.
No, it's not that. It's not that like that.
I'm pulling your leg, mate. It's all right.
Yeah. One other thing, it probably means nothing, but there's this phrase
no.
I've been given, and
God
it
damn it.
occurred to me it might be some kind of code word or an operation of some kind.
Go on.
Pleasant Green.
Time's up, mate. Gotta go.
Wait, what? Wait.
That's an echelon code phrase. I've got to cut the line now.
Echelon is a satellite system developed by the US government and used by us, the Americans, and various other nations to listen in to phone calls, read emails and text messages, etc. Echelon doesn't listen to everything. Instead, it's loaded with keywords and phrases that trigger it to start recording. Traditionally, these phrases are tied into international terrorism, organised crime and espionage. For some reason, the phrase pleasant green had been set up as an Echelon trigger. That was worrying. But it also told me that, as my anonymous informant in the underground car park had said, we were on the right track. What stuck in my mind from the call to my military contact, though, was that Kennedy's name hadn't appeared on the patient lists of any Iraqi hospitals.
Hi, excuse me.
Interesting.
Are you Walter Brown? Hello? He's a big guy, dressed in an old pair of jeans, boots, and a battered wax cotton coat. His hair sits messily on his collar. He has his back to me, and I can't tell if he can't hear me or he's just ignoring me. My name's Kennedy Fisher. I wanted to talk to you about Henry Akeley. He finally turns around and looks at me.
All right. I have the bare minimum of
There's
stamina
something about him.
for
Something that seems almost
the Master Sword.
not there. He's staring at me, and his eyes are this really pale
Now I gotta
blue,
do all of
which I wasn't
the
expecting
dragon
because his hair was
tears.
so dark. But his eyes seem empty. And then suddenly, it's like he snaps back into himself and gives me this beaming smile which transforms his entire demeanor, and he says,
You're an American. Can I get you anything? Tea? Coffee? It's only instant. Water?
No, I'm good, thank you. The house is untidy, but it seems very clean. The curtains are closed, and the room we're in is therefore pretty dark. But Walter doesn't turn a lamp on.
Are you from one of the bases? Your parents, honey?
Oh, no, I'm from London. I'm just here looking into Mr. Akeley's disappearance.
Well, I'm glad someone is.
You knew him.
Yes. I used to know him very well. His past few years, well, I think it's fair to say he changed.
Changed how?
I don't know how much you know about Henry's past. I wouldn't want to speak out of turn.
Are you talking about the drugs or the magic rituals?
Okay, it sounds like you know all of it. So, yes, Henry and I were very close for a long time. We went to school together, in fact, and we grew up near each other, so we were friends throughout our childhood. And then Henry fell in with these magical types.
Amelia Fenner.
Amelia, yes. Perfectly nice woman. Bit balmy, but Henry was quite enthralled.
I don't know
by
if I'm
her.
actually gonna make
He
it.
encouraged me to come along to one
Maybe
of
I
their
will.
gatherings, and well, I suppose I didn't have anything better to do, and it seemed like something interesting, out of the ordinary, you know. I was never really into the drugs thing like Henry was. I smoked a bit of pot, but so did everyone. But when it came to mind-altering whatever, I think, to be honest, I was a bit scared of all that. There were these stories at the time of people taking LSD and jumping off of buildings because they thought they could fly. And I suppose that was all in the back of my mind.
Not gonna make it.
Just didn't fancy it. Bad
That's fine.
trips, they used
It's
to call
fine.
them.
It's fine.
I think they
It's
still
fine.
do.
It's fine.
So we would go into the woods and Amelia would scratch some symbols into the dirt and we'd sit around and she would read stuff out of this old book. It all seemed a bit silly to me. Probably because I wasn't taking the stuff they
Still
were taking.
too damn cold.
But they all got very into it,
Okay.
and I suppose I was at least able to fulfill the function of making sure no one hurt themselves.
I see
or
the
whatever.
shrine.
You were there with them over Christmas in 1980.
I was, yes.
Might actually just make it.
Are you going to ask me if I saw a UFO?
Well, I was gonna ask what happened, but
But that's where you were heading. No, I didn't see a UFO. I don't believe anyone saw one.
not even the U.S. Air Force guys?
Oh, I couldn't say what they saw.
Come on, baby.
I meant the people in our little group.
Just a little bit
What
more.
we saw were flashes of light amongst the trees. We heard engines and voices.
You saw the USAF people searching.
Exactly right. That's what I saw, and I was stone cold sober that night. What the others saw, or rather what they interpreted under the influence of the pills Amelia had given them,
What did they think
Hell
they saw?
yeah.
at the time, they thought they'd summoned an angel, something called Babylon. That was what the ritual was all about. But then, afterwards, there were all these reports of UFOs in the forest, so they decided that that must be what they'd seen. And then they reasoned
Approach this a
that
different
actually
way.
the UFOs were Babylon, and honestly, it all seemed pretty harmless at the time.
But you told them what you'd seen.
Oh, yes. But you see, my eyes were not to be trusted because they said the boundaries to my consciousness were up, because I hadn't opened myself up to the experience. So apparently, I had in fact seen this Babylon, but my rational brain had refused to accept it. And that's why I had chosen to interpret the vision as Air Force men with torches. You can't win, really.
Walter said that this was the beginning of the end of his friendship with Henry Akeley.
None of them could let this go. And Amelia left soon after. I don't know where she went. But that meant there was no one to hold the group together. Tommy Marston had a complete breakdown. Apparently he went off to America for a while, and then he came back and, well, I presume you know he killed himself.
I heard, yes.
Tanya Ratcliffe moved away. She didn't go far, to be fair, but she distanced herself. And all the joy just seemed to have left her. And then there was Henry. And he was just so determined to prove that there was something in those woods. He was so sure that some kind of portal or gate had been opened that night. And he thought that whatever had come through had not gone back, because we never did a banishing ritual. So he was off in the forest every day looking for it.
And this was just flashlights.
All we saw was some men with torches. Whether those men were chasing a lighthouse beacon or some kind of experimental aircraft, they could have been chasing actual Martians for all I know. All I can say with 100% certainty is that no one in our group saw anything other than men with torches.
You heard what happened to Tanya.
I did. Poor old girl. She went up to Dunwich chasing that ridiculous book,
Which book?
the Necronomicon. It was all Amelia Fenner ever talked about, and she had all of them obsessed with it by the end. Tanya got it into her head that the thing came into England through Dunwich, however many centuries ago. You all right?
Yes, sorry.
You've gone pale. Are you sure I can't get you some water?
Thank you. I'm okay. So, in more recent times, with Henry Akeley,
Well,
Where the hell
we
is
were
the
virtually
chest?
strangers. I'd see him often enough, walking past here or
it's gotta
heading
be
up
up
into
there.
the forest. But I'd long ago given up trying to
How am I gonna
engage
get
with him,
that?
really. Once or twice more recently, I tried again because he was looking so unwell.
Think.
In what way?
Brain.
Tired,
Think.
I suppose. Drawn. His face had become quite gaunt, and there was something in his eyes. This strange sort of haunted look. And I was worried about him because we had once been such great friends, you know. So I did try to connect with him again, but it's as if he saw me as an enemy now. Perhaps because I was the one still doubting what had happened back in
guess I could-
1980.
so he just ignored you.
Most of the time. Occasionally he'd rant at me how I'd killed his dogs, how I was tormenting him, how I was one of them, whoever they are. So I took a step back. I kept an eye on him, but I kept my distance.
And what do you think happened to him?
You're talking about a man nearly 70 years old with a history of drug abuse and this experience with the occult that, whatever you or I might think of it, clearly had a profound effect on him. Henry has mental health issues. Severe mental health issues. And I'm afraid this country no longer provides care for people like him. At least not the level of care they need. I think he's gone somewhere. whether he knows where he is. Or when he's there, he could be sleeping in a doorway or at a shelter somewhere under another
No.
name.
No!
We have to face the
Oh,
fact that
man.
he might be dead.
And you don't think there's anything to any of these other explanations?
No, the
Magic
cart's all the way
stuff.
over there.
I was there.
Shit.
It didn't happen, Miss Fisher. It was men with torches.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you? Excuse me, sir. Can?
I thought I'd find you here.
Mr. Hayward, an unexpected pleasure.
I'm very sorry,
I want some answers, and I'm not going anywhere until I get them.
Sir, you can't just come barging in.
Stand down, Marina, thank you. Mr. Hayward is... Have a seat, Matthew. You prefer Matt?
I prefer Mr. Hayward.
What can we get you? Scotch, perhaps, to calm your nerves. Are you hungry? Pigeon's very good this evening. Ricardo makes it with a plum sauce, which is surprising.
No, I'm not hungry, and I don't want to drink.
You want answers?
Yes, that's right.
To which question?
Babylon
Is that a test?
and Pleasant Green.
Well, now.
Why is that an echelon trigger?
Well, I'm the one who needs a scotch. Paolo, would you mind? A woman arranged to meet with you.
Yes. Yes. Who was she?
For the benefit of the tape, I'm shaking my head.
I said I wanted answers.
You did, but you're not in a position to compel them. The woman you met is trustworthy.
And what about the people who crashed that meeting?
Less so. Although I suppose that's subjective. Depends whose side you're on.
So there are two sides to this.
To everything, surely.
What is it?
What is...
Stop playing games!
Fine. You have a missing gentleman, Henry Akeley.
All right, I'm gonna need some peppers
discovered
before
that he
I
was keeping
really
less than
go
savory
over
company.
to that area.
There is a radio broadcast in a language no one speaks, so that spells out the word Babylon.
Did
which
I mark?
I'm sure you have by now gathered is of some esoteric significance to certain parties.
I know what I know. What is Pleasant Green?
You're going too far, too fast, Mr. Hayward.
What is Pleasant Green?
I don't know, and that is the truth. I know it's an echelon trigger, and I know that whatever it is classified above the clearance level of anyone I've ever met.
So it's government or military?
Might be that.
I would say so.
Who do I talk to?
No one will talk to you about this.
I wouldn't bet on that. Someone always wants to talk. Should I mention your name when I find that person?
That's an empty threat, Mr. Hayward. No one at that level cares about a minnow like me. But like I say, too far, too fast. You're looking for Henry Akeley, yes? Well, then put the pieces you already have together. A ritual performed by Akeley's group over the Christmas period in 1980.
How do you know about that?
And what would you surmise to be the nature of that ritual?
No, that's not where I get
Babylon
peppers.
working.
Fuck.
That would seem to be a good guess. And the result?
Result? You think what happened in the
I don't
forest?
think anything. I'm merely following your own line of speculation.
actually, I have
Post
enough
hoc,
peppers.
ergo propter hoc. After it,
Guess I just need to
therefore,
cook.
because of it.
Let's
a
find a
ritual
place to
is
cook.
performed, a summoning, and then something appears in the forest.
You think they summoned aliens?
No, I think that would be ridiculous. But if I didn't, if I was someone who thought it was plausible, aliens, or something that appeared to be alien, and I was in a position of power, and I had the resources to try to replicate that result on a larger scale,
If you had a top secret weapons testing facility in the area,
or access to one because of my position,
who would that person be?
someone higher.
Like a cabinet secretary?
No. Damn, Rain.
Godfrey Tillinghast is dead. And anyway, you're thinking too small. There are levels far above Tillinghast. Names even someone like him wouldn't have known.
So who knows them?
And this is why I say you're going too far, too fast. You're looking for someone who knows someone. Perhaps instead, you should be looking for the man who already found out this information.
Henry Akeley.
Fucking rain everywhere.
I went back to the vicarage to talk with Albert Wilmot. Albert had warned me away from Walter Brown, so I was interested to find out exactly what it was about this seemingly pleasant man I might have missed.
Well, I know he's been in trouble with the police on a number of occasions. Not recently, I should add.
Might have to sleep for the rain to go
Mr.
away.
Brown had a history of violence.
Well, I didn't get any sense of that. Quite the opposite.
I know Henry had issues with him.
Yes, we talked about that, and it does sound like a lot of that was in Henry's mind. Having met Tanya Ratcliffe and knowing what I know about Amelia Fenner and about Henry...
Well, I guess I could pick up the
Walter Brown
Dragon Tier
certainly
over
seems
here,
like
I
the
guess.
most level-headed of the bunch. He was actually charming.
Somewhere.
Are you sure you didn't knock on the next door neighbour's house by mistake?
He actually agreed with you. He thinks this whole thing is about Henry having mental health problems and...
Wait, I
going
already
off
have
somewhere.
that one.
Well, that's Occam's razor.
He did say one interesting thing. He said that Tanya Ratcliffe had
I
got
already
off to
have that
Dunwich
one.
because she believed that the Necronomicon had entered the country there centuries ago.
The Necronomicon, is that even real?
Well, I've met people who think it is.
I suppose, if that's true, and this Babylon, whatever it is, has a connection to John Dee.
Well, it was his ritual, apparently.
Didn't I read somewhere that the Necronomicon was supposed to have been translated into English by Dee back in the 16th century?
I don't know.
But if it does exist, or did, and it came in through Suffolk, that would explain some things.
What would it explain?
Well, the explosion of witchcraft in the area, for one. And some of the folk tales, maybe?
Like what?
Have you heard of the Wild Man of Orford?
No, but I'm staying in Orford.
Well, then you know the castle. The story goes that sometime during the reign of Henry II, so late 1100s, some fishermen out near what is now Orford Ness caught a man in their nets. Kind of a merman, I
wanna
suppose,
sleep in
a
the
man
good
with
bed.
The ability to live in water.
Let me sleep in the
He was
good bed.
taken to Orford Castle and presumably interrogated, but he escaped
Good
into
bed.
the river and was never seen again.
Okay.
And there are a surprising number of similar folk tales around this area about beings
Oh,
like him.
fuck off.
I
with
bring it
your
up
points.
because the stories in your last season.
You listened to the last season?
Yeah, I thought I should. I do have some questions, but anyway. You talk about the guy who was supposed to have written the Necronomicon.
Alhazred.
Yeah, he claimed the secrets he put into that book were given to him by a race of people he discovered beneath the desert.
Okay, but that's not...
No, I'm not suggesting it's true, but you seem to be making the point in your show that there's a difference between what's true and what people believe.
Yes.
Well, if Amelia Fenner and her gang believed that the Necronomicon was here somewhere, or had been, and they believed that
Give
it
me my
was the
reward.
source or the cause somehow of the folk stories of the area, and they acted on that belief,
To what end?
I don't know.
Give me my reward.
It's easy to get sucked into this stuff, isn't it? I suppose what I was heading towards, what might have been banging on Henry Akeley's door.
Where's my reward? What do you mean the one with the
Yeah,
ledger? Is there a different one?
I stopped myself.
I don't think Henry Akeley was abducted by mermaids.
This is the one with the ledger.
By the time I left the vicarage,
Oh, wait,
the sun
do
was
you mean
starting to go
this?
down. And I was
Oh,
back
this
to
is what you
thinking
mean.
that all of this was just the sad story of an old man with mental health issues. I drove up the road past Walter Brown's house. Walter was out in his garden again. So I slowed down and hooted and waved. And he turned and looked
Oh
at me.
boy.
But he was like he'd been the first time I saw him. A blank expression with these empty eyes. And he seemed to be looking right through me without any sign of recognition. It was weird, but I figured maybe he just didn't recognize me in the car. So I carried on past Henry Akeley's house. There were no lights on, no signs of life. I didn't really know where we should go next. My investigation had come full circle. The radio broadcast could have been anything. Matthew's adventures with
What am I
military
doing?
intelligence could have been something tangential that we'd stumbled on but which had nothing to do with Henry Akeley. There was something quite comforting in the notion that this might not be a story about the occult and aliens. But then I thought about Tanya Ratcliffe jumping off that cliff, and I knew there must be something more to all of this. I turned onto the road that leads back to Orford and my hotel. There was a black saloon car parked at the side of the road, and beside it, a woman dressed in black wearing little round sunglasses, watching me. And that's the
God damn it.
last thing I remember.
I feel like at this point we're like a really well-oiled machine, like a tired machine, but like a machine that works.
Tired from
right?
everything else except our own machine.
We're a fridge
Yep.
from the 1950s.
Unkillable.
Protect you, Indiana
sometimes.
Jones.
I was just gonna say.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Friends Per Second podcast on this Zelda Tears of the Kingdom release weekend.
Wait,
we're
what
very
the fuck
excited.
is this?
The game is
This
out
is
right
not-
now. We are filming.
This is not Shadow over Innsmouth. You're supposed to autoplay Shadow over Innsmouth, not whatever the fuck that was. Hold on. We're gonna fix this. Maybe not. Lovecraft Investigations. Stick with the plan, please.
This is the BBC.
Thank you.
This podcast is supported by advertising outside the UK.
Surgeons keep our hearts beating. They do the amazing, help save lives, and so can you. Your CSL plasma donation can help create 24 critical life-saving medicines that can give Grandpa the chance for his heart to swell when he meets his new grandson,
I think
or
I'll
give a bride
focus
the chance for her heart to skip a beat on her
on
wedding
that.
day. Every plasma donation helps more than you know. Do the amazing. Help save lives. Donate today at your local CSL Plasma Center and be rewarded for your generosity.
BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
Monday the 24th of June. I know who they are. I know who's doing this, who's responsible for it. Finally, I understand what this is all about. They want me to keep quiet. They think I'm sympathetic to the cause, and they think that I'm scared of them. But I'm not. I'm not going to keep quiet. I'm going to blow the whole thing wide open. They've been lying to everyone for long enough, skulking around in the shadows. But what they're trying to do, I can't allow it. Somehow I've got to stop them. If anyone is listening to this, then I've failed. But it's not over. I've written down everything I know, and I've sent it to someone I trust. That person will know what to do with it. One way or another, this is going to end.
Do I have a pine cone?
That is the last recording Henry Akeley made. To the best of our knowledge, he disappeared sometime that week. At this point in the story, it's probably worth recapping what we know. Henry Akeley disappeared from his home on the edge of Rendlesham Forest in Suffolk somewhere around the end of June 2019. Prior to that, he had been trying to get in touch with Eleanor Peck, and he left her a voicemail that seemed very out of character 2 months after his disappearance. Henry claimed that something was coming to his house at night and trying to get in. That same something, or things, allegedly killed several of Henry's dogs. Henry had a shortwave radio set up in his home, and he used it to tune in to an infrequent, pre-recorded broadcast that features what sounds like the voice of a child, reading out letters in an ancient language called Enochian. The letters spell the word Babylon, and we've gathered that this refers to some kind of occult ritual, a summoning known as the Babylon Working, which was devised by Dr. John Dee in the 1500s and replicated by Aleister Crowley and by the rocket engineer Jack Parsons. Henry was a member of an occult group with Amelia Fenner, who we met briefly last season. He also may have had ties to Barbara Sayers, and therefore to the Ipkuaya cult that Sayers belongs to. Over Christmas in 1980, Henry Akeley and his group conducted a ritual on the edge of Rendlesham Forest. This may have been their own version of the Babylon Working. At the same time as this ritual was taking place, several members of the US Air Force based at nearby RAF Woodbridge observed what they claimed to be UFOs in the sky. Now, we don't know if those two things are in any way connected, and we like to maintain a healthy level of skepticism on both matters of the occult and extraterrestrial life forms. But something is happening here. Henry Akeley has disappeared. And the more we look into his disappearance, the more murky it all seems to get. We've been given a phrase, pleasant green, that seems to suggest that all of this, or at least some of it, is connected to the government in some way. We're treading carefully. And we've realized that the only person who might hold all the answers is the man we're looking for. I'm Matthew Hayward, and this is The Whisperer in Darkness.
Matt, hi. I'm emailing this file to you because it's weird. When you hear it, you'll get why I'm sending it now rather than waiting until I see you. I don't know what's going to happen between now and then, and I don't want to be the only person in possession of this audio. Okay, context. So it's 9:17 a.m. I'm in my hotel room in Orford. My alarm woke me up at 8 o'clock, and I have no memory of last night. The last thing I remember was saying goodbye to Albert Wilmarth at the vicarage over near Rendlesham, and then I got in the car and I started driving. And the next thing I know, my alarm is waking me up this morning. Which, given that I'm not a drug user or blackout drunk, is unusual. What's weirder is that my wristwatch is running about 12 minutes slow, which means it must have stopped at some point for 12 minutes and then somehow started up again. So, I'm a little discombobulated. But I'm saving the best to last. In an effort to figure out what I might have been doing last night, I checked the log on my audio recorder and, lo and behold, there's an audio file that's timestamped at 7:03 p.m. last night. and lasts for us exactly 12 minutes. I have no memory of making this recording or of the content of it. I'm fine. No strange bruises or... So I don't think I've been experimented on by aliens. Anyway, here's the file. See what you make of it. I'm on some wasteland. There are big concrete buildings all around, all empty, derelict. I can hear the sea, and I think it's just up ahead of me. Is this? I think this must be Orford Ness. These must be the old weapons testing buildings and labs. It's late in the day. The sun is going down.
Nope.
I haven't seen any people, but now, as I clear the corner of one of these buildings, I can see a woman sitting on a wall, looking out to sea.
I can't see what I'm doing.
She's in her early 30s, with long dark hair, and she's wearing black and dark gray. A lot of layers that seem to all flow together. She's pale, and she's wearing small, round sunglasses.
That's a nice
You're going
one.
to describe me in voiceover. Please don't mention this spot on my chin. Bloody thing appeared this morning and is doing its very best to ruin my day.
Describe you.
Well, that's what you do, isn't it? To give your listeners a clearer picture of things.
Do we know each other?
We do now. I'm Parker.
Is that a first name or a last name?
Just Parker. And you're
I
Kennedy
figured the
Fisher.
wind would do something with the arrow, but apparently
you
not.
knew that. And you know the history of this place, don't you?
I'm sorry, who are you?
It's all gone now, of course. Turned over to nature. And the owls.
Owls?
You're not seeing them. Look up there.
Oh. I'm turning to look at the buildings, and all the windows have been smashed long ago, and now it seems like every one of those spaces is occupied by a large owl, staring down at me.
Is that a habit that annoys people?
What?
Narrating everything. Do people find that irritating in normal life?
I'm not... I don't...
They freak me out a bit. The owls. They're considered quite powerful in occult circles. A symbol of pure evil. But then, some people claim they're a sign of good fortune, so... Well, I suppose that's occult circles for you. But I don't need to tell you any of this. You're becoming quite an expert.
In the occult?
Well, occult adjacent.
I'm sorry, can we go back to the beginning?
Oh, there's no time, I'm afraid.
Who do you work for?
I like it out here. It's pleasant. Green.
Who are you?
We need to progress from this line of questioning.
Okay, what do you want?
Okay, well, that's marginally better, I suppose. I want to help you.
So tell me what Pleasant Green is.
It's a place. It was. Is? Was.
Where?
Don't know, strangely that may seem. Pleasant Green was a quaint English village. A bit like this place. Orford, I mean. Not Orford Ness. And it vanished.
What?
I know, yes. Ceased to be.
I don't understand.
No one does, really. The best we can tell, there was some kind of radio broadcast. A number station. You know what that is, right?
I do.
Well, we think it was broadcasting from this place called Pleasant Green, and we believe we sent someone to investigate. But now there's no such village.
What do you mean you believe you sent someone?
Well, there's a collective memory of it. Kind of a vague recollection amongst the people in the department. But there's no records of such a thing happening, and there's no record of the village having existed at any point in history.
But people remember it.
Some people, yeah. Enough to make you think it must have been a thing. And not too long ago, maybe 4 or 5 years. Some of the people weren't working with us before then.
And who is us?
The fact that it's now an echelon trigger phrase seems telling them, doesn't it?
What have you done with Henry Akeley?
Gold poop.
Don't know where he is. Ooh,
I don't want your
well,
poop.
You'll find him.
Stop giving me poop.
Who is we?
You've noticed I'm not answering that question.
I'm not going to stop asking.
The Department of Works. Can we move away from the owls? Do you mind?
Why are they listening in?
Well, I wouldn't put it past them. We are the good guys. I think.
That's a flaky answer.
It's all complicated. Insofar as my lot are not attempting to militarize an ancient occult ritual, I believe we are on the right side of this one.
The Department of Works.
Oh, it's just the department, really. You've met people from the other side. The man you knew as George Shepley and subsequently Dr. Allen. Barbara Sayers, seemed like a bitch, by the way. And Mr. Hayward crossed paths with Godfrey Tillinghast.
Tillinghast and Dr. Allen are dead.
Interesting.
That's
You
not
didn't know.
fair at all.
Oh, Tillinghast is dead.
I can
Yeah.
handle it.
But
Checking out that huge cloud wouldn't be hard. I could even do it alone. If we don't do anything, the village... Huh? Huh? Is that you?
He's so cute. Look at him. Oh, now we're not talking anymore? That's fine. I can do my own voices. Link, they told me you were missing. It's good to see you doing well. I don't remember his voice. Well, it's very nice to see you again. Do you remember my son, Tulin? He's grown taller, though perhaps not yet grown up. Well, maybe I would if you didn't treat me like a hatchling all the time. As long as you still think you could take on the world by yourself, you'll always be my little chick. What? You think I can't? I'm already fully fledged, you know. You'll change your tune when I ace today's scouting trip. You all can keep wasting your time treating the Song of the Stormwind arc like it's real, but not me. Listen, you. Unbelievable. Tulin wants me to let him go find what's causing the blizzard, and he's having trouble hearing no. It's an old folk song here in Rito Village. Long, long ago, when we faced a different sort of upheaval, the village was saved thanks to a great flying ship. Or so claims the song that's been passed down through generations. It's a song for children, mind you. Few adults still parrot it as if it were true. Still, every now and then, you get reports among the Rito of a flying ship. Combine that with the blizzard caused by this upheaval, and it seems less far-fetched. Even if the Song of the Stormwind arc is just a children's rhyme, I suspect that there is something lurking high up in the sky. But the air is so turbulent now that no Rito can fly close enough to look into it. This is why I say we need to make careful preparations to find the truth, but Tulin, he thinks we cling to that song out of cowardice. But these are Rito matters. You came for some purpose, yes? What? This is terrible news. So then, not even Hyrule Castle is safe. If Princess Zelda's disappearance and the strange phenomena around the world are related somehow... We Rito would ordinarily love to contribute to your search, but this abnormal blizzard shows no sign of stopping, and food has grown scarce. Everyone I could spare is already out researching the blizzard or scavenging for food. My husband hasn't been able to leave the village much since becoming the village elder. I wish there was something I could do. But maybe I'm not the one you want. You should try asking Hearth. My friend Hearth has many sources of information, so he might already have a lead about Princess Zelda. You see the 2 bonfires out that way? He's in a lodging near there, if you'd like to try visiting him. Okay. Let's go back.
Dr. Allen is very much alive. He can't be. And we're going to come back to that because it's
Climb a little bit higher.
the weirdest part. But I need to keep my thread here. So, you've met some of the opposition, and you understand that those people, even Godfrey Tillinghast, are essentially pawns.
Shepley, Alan, said they were mere cogs in the machine.
Mere? Oh, that dick is one smooth eye away from a Miss Hinks, isn't he?
If I don't jump, I
But
might
that's
be able to
right.
make it.
What's happening now is a step up from what they were doing.
But still related to Mesopotamia and Ibkuaya.
Kinda wish I had the climbing
Kind
gear,
of.
though.
Tangentially, Alhazred links them, and the Necronomicon.
And is it right that that came in through Dunwich?
Way back when, yeah. And the people who took receipt of it there really screwed things up. You know those people who get hold of a new thing and start playing with it before they've read the instructions? Well, that's what happened back then, and bye-bye, Dunwich.
Seriously?
Yep.
So you're actually likening the Necronomicon to, what, some instructions you get with flat-pack furniture from IKEA?
What do you know about IKEA?
What?
No, nothing. No. Yes. A little knowledge is a dangerous thing. This is why no one sensible was keen on translating the Bible
It's
into
those
English.
damn Swedes.
Are you sure that no one sensible thought that was...
No, Swedes are part of it.
People start
They're part of the cult of
misinterpreting
Cthulhu.
man. Don't tell me you haven't noticed. Anyway, yes.
I knew it.
The Necronomicon came in through Dunwich. Have you read it?
I have not.
Well, don't waste your time. It's incredibly dull. Al Hazred was many things, but he was no Lee Child.
I can't
Okay, so the
fight
bad
Ryan
guys are
yet.
using the Necronomicon.
Yes, good. Get me back on track. So,
His robe.
bad guys. Babylon's summoning on a scale never before attempted.
To what end?
That's complicated, but it's nothing good.
And you're the good guys.
In this instance, yes. We've been around as an organization as long as they have. We both got kind of absorbed into the establishment about 500 odd years ago. And it's mostly checks and balances. They lean one way, we lean the other, and the whole ship stays on an even keel. Now, though, not so much. This is a war. It's fought in the shadows. Our people, their people. It's a full cross-section of society. But at the top of their organization are some very powerful people.
Like who?
Can't say.
Why not?
Because we work in the shadows.
And yet you know I'm recording this.
Yeah, but it's not like you have a big audience. Joking. No, the decision has been made to use your show to let the other side know that we are onto them.
Uh-huh. Bullshit.
What is?
Everything. Everything you're telling me is a bunch of Looney Tunes paranoid delusional bullshit.
Well, it's okay to think that now, because you're going to find proof.
Oh, really? Of what? That Dunwich was destroyed by amateur wizards? Or that there's a secret conspiracy at the heart of the British government to summon Martians or the Whore of Babylon or whatever this is supposed to be?
It's not Martians. That would be ridiculous.
What was the point of this meeting? What were you hoping to achieve here?
To let you know that you're not alone. We're helping you.
Well, that's a load off.
What can I say to convince you?
Apparently nothing.
I told you Dr. Allen is still alive.
If that's even true, it's hardly earth-shattering. It's not like I watched him die. I thought he was dead. Turns out he wasn't. Shit happens.
Yeah, but you don't remember hanging out with him in Iraq, do you?
Excuse me? I didn't.
When you were supposedly in hospital.
I was in hospital.
Which one?
I don't.
Who was your doctor? What medication did they put you on? You were in a coma? Really? And then you woke up and they let you out, and then where did you go?
I went to Mosul.
Uh-huh. What happened there?
I
don't remember? Doesn't that seem weird to you? You can relate this time as a vague thing, but there's no detail, is there? How was the...
Eh? It just stopped. Did my internet just go out? No, it says I'm still streaming. That was weird.
Is there? How was the hospital food? Describe one of the nurses. Any one of them.
No, this is...
You weren't there. You were with Dr. Allen and Barbara Sayers and Ezra Whedon. Allen's face was covered in bandages.
Bandaged man.
Don't try to force it. It may or may not come back in time. We don't know what you were doing. We lost track of you. But whatever it was, they wiped your memory.
What? How can they wipe?
How can people who've been resurrecting the same Mesopotamian magician into different bodies for nearly 20 centuries monkey around with your brain?
Okay. I think I'm...
Yeah, you should sit down. Just breathe. It's a lot of information. It'll pass. We're nearly done.
How did they mess with my brain?
Well, if you imagine your brain...
I'm gonna
is a
focus on the
computer,
tower first.
It's not, but the analogy works well enough. It runs on software, and they hacked it with language.
With language?
Enochian, the tongue of the angels. It's like programming language for the brain. Fortunately for you, we've mostly erased the code that was there. You are not under their control anymore.
Wait, I was under their...
Yeah, it's okay. It's not like they were going to get you to kill anyone. They just monkeyed around with your short-term memory. And some temporal stuff that has a few freaky localized effects, which you don't need to worry about. We left the trigger in place so that I could get you here, but I'm going to remove it now.
Wait, what are you talking about, get me here?
How did you get here?
You
were with Albert Wilmar. He's a nice man, isn't he?
I said goodbye to him and I got in the car.
That's right.
And I drove past Walter Brown.
Ah, yes. He's an empty vessel.
What do you mean?
Complete personality change. Someone's taken vacant possession. We're not intervening until we know who or why, but it's not looking good.
Damn it.
He seemed completely normal.
Charming, I'm told.
Actually, yes.
Walter
Oh,
Brown
I
was
could
never
probably do it
charming.
from
He's
here.
the breeding age of a pre-adolescent, and his first wife is buried in the back garden. Killed her with a hammer.
Well, how is he
Well, the police don't know. We only found out recently, and it's pointless arresting him if the person in that body isn't him anymore.
So who is it?
Who or what? Not sure. Like I say, it's probably nothing good. Anyway, we went past Walter's house, then Henry Akeley's.
And I got onto the Orford Road, and I saw you.
Yes. Look at me a moment.
Why?
There. You can go back to sleep now.
That's it. I have no image of this Parker woman in my head. No visual memory of her or of the place. That's my voice on the recording, and I've looked at the files. I don't seem to have been messed with. It's just a raw recording on the disc, which means it must have happened. I haven't really processed it yet. But it seems the best course of action would be to have a massive fry-up and a few gallons of strong coffee and see if that shakes anything loose.
In the basement of the London Library is the Times Room. In a temperature-controlled room, they keep about 200 years' worth of issues of the newspaper, and a whole lot more on microfiche. At the point that Kennedy was sending that audio file to me, I was somewhere beneath St. James's Square, trying to find a small piece in a newspaper from 1869. And the sequence of events that led me to be there had started at 11 o'clock the previous evening.
Matthew Hayward, hello.
30 minutes, Westminster Bridge, north side.
How will I know which... Hello? Hello?
Good evening.
I'm recording this.
I rather thought you might.
And you're not hiding in the
Let's
shadows
go
anymore.
for...
You don't need to know
I guess
my
we'll
name.
focus on
and you'll refrain
Quest.
from styling me. At the end of this conversation, you'll hand me the memory card from your recorder. My colleague in the car over there will make a copy for me, my voice disguised, and will destroy the original.
I'm sorry, that's not how we work.
Those are the conditions for this conversation. They're non-negotiable.
Fine.
We're going to walk across the bridge. When we get to the other side, this meeting is over. What's happening is going to happen soon.
What's happening?
There's a link we've only just become aware of. There's an account in the Times, 8th of October, 1869.
Where do I have to go again?
Account of what?
You'll know it when you see it.
You know, if you want to help, you could be less cryptic.
I don't have time to do your job for you, Mr. Hayward. And I don't think I'd enjoy the pay cut.
Right.
You're on the right track.
Well, it doesn't feel like it. I don't even know who you represent.
It's not germane to the story, Lieutenant.
Northeast.
What you need to understand is that what you're looking at now and what you were looking into a year ago, the Ward case, they're interlinked.
Yes, we know that.
In more ways than you currently realise. Look at that 1869 issue of the Times, and also look into something called the Blake House incident.
Is that the family that disappeared?
Yeah. The risk of sounding like a cliche. Everything's connected.
This is also urgent. Why aren't you, or the people you represent, taking action? Why are you just handing out riddles to someone making a podcast?
Make no mistake, Mr. Hayward, we are doing something about this. But what we're doing can't be made public. What you uncover can, and it should.
Well, aren't you afraid that our broadcasting these conversations is going to spoil the surprise for whoever's behind this?
No. Because I don't think you're going to be ready to broadcast this series within the next 48 hours.
It's happening in the next 2 days.
TikTok, Mr. Hayward.
Well, what is it?
Your memory card, please.
Well, I need to know what...
Across the bridge. This meeting is over. Give me the memory card.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay, so this is the Times from Friday the 8th of October, 1869. The headline reads, "Accident at Niagara." Here's the text. "The most melancholy accident occurred on the Canada shore of the Niagara River in the vicinity of the falls at about noon on the 24th Ult. Ult means of the previous month, so September. A party consisting of one gentleman and 4 ladies, all belonging to Providence, Rhode Island, were on their way home from Buffalo and crossed over on the Canada side. While their carriage was passing the curve opposite the precipice in front of the Clifton House, the horses became unmanageable, and as it was evident they would go over the bank, the driver and Mr. Tillinghast, the Providence gentleman, jumped off the seat and escaped with slight injury. The horses and carriage, together with the 4 ladies, went down the bank. However, a distance of some 59 feet. Mrs. Mahala Smith, one of the party, was horribly mangled and instantly killed, and Miss Mary Ann Ballard was so dangerously injured that she cannot possibly recover. Mrs. Tillinghast and a Mrs. Fisher were badly bruised.
Damn it, I meant to
Their
jump
wounds are
out of the way.
dangerous. So, the mystery woman said this was all connected in ways we didn't realise. There's some connection between Tillinghast. Was this Fisher somehow related to Kennedy? And Providence, Rhode Island is where Charles Dexter Ward lived. But how does any of that join up to Henry Akeley? Or what's happening now? I parked that and I went to a different part of the library to look up the Blake House incident.
Suffolk Police are tonight appealing for the public's help following the disappearance of architect Jonathan Blake, along with his wife Imogen and their 11-year-old son Matthew. The Blake family disappeared from their home in Capel St Andrew near Orford on Wednesday night. Police say that there were no signs of foul play, and yet neither friends, family, nor neighbours have any knowledge of where they went. Suffolk Police are asking anyone who might have information regarding the family's whereabouts to get in touch.
I remembered this case vaguely. The Blake family disappeared in 2010. In 2016, some kids playing on the site of the Blake house, which had been left to ruin, stumbled upon an old basement that had been part of a house that had previously occupied the site. In that basement, they found 5 bodies. The Blakes, plus 2 others. Exactly what had happened to the Blakes, and who the other 2 bodies belonged to, has never been explained. Apart from the geographical proximity of the Blake house to the Akeley house and to Rendlesham Forest, I was struggling to see how this had anything to do with our investigation. But I dug a little deeper, and I found myself looking at the house that stood on the site before Jonathan Blake built his family home there. That house, to which the basement the bodies were found in had presumably belonged, had burned down in 1935. But according to a report I found in one of the local papers at the time, the members of the family that had lived in that house had all been murdered, stabbed to death, prior to the house being set on fire. The perpetrator of this awful crime turned out to be the daughter of the family, just 11 years old at the time. Her name was Mary. The family name was Marston.
Where the fuck did I...
And I knew that rang a bell. But it took me most of the walk back from the library to the studio to remember why.
I think the people in this picture might know something.
My glasses, 1 second.
Was that it over there?
Right, well, this is Henry, obviously, and Amelia Fenner. And this chap here is Thomas Marston.
Do you know where I can find him?
Yes, he's about 20 yards that way. He's buried here. He died about 5 years ago.
How did he die?
He took his own life, I'm afraid. He hanged himself. I didn't realise he'd been in this group with Henry.
I didn't think for a second that this was a coincidence, but I couldn't work out why it was significant. The mystery woman had pointed me to that Time story from 1869 and to the Blake House incident, presumably intending me to dig up Marston as the name of one of the members of Henry Akeley's coven. If she was trying to prove her point that everything is connected, then she was doing a good job. But I couldn't see why it was relevant. And then I started looking into Thomas Marston himself. And only then did I realise just how deep this whole thing went.
Ow, fuck.
I'm back at the Akeley house. In daylight this time. I really don't need any more freaky things happening to me today. Hello? Anyone here? I'm sure we've missed something. Henry Akeley is the key to all of this. He's where it started, and we've gone all around the houses, but I'm sure there must be something here that can lead us to him.
Do you want me to look in the kitchen?
Oh, Albert Wilmarth is with me. Daylight or not, I'm not about to come back here on my own. Yeah, take a look around.
Fuck it.
Hopefully you'll know when you see it. It could be a phone number scrawled somewhere, or...
I get it. How much this place is at the top?
Damn it. Fucker. Alright, dickbag.
That was quick.
Detective work may not be something for which I have an aptitude.
Let's try upstairs. If there's anything, it's likely to be in here.
It's like the inside of old Henry's head in here.
Exactly. And you knew the inside of his head better than anyone.
Wow, I wouldn't say that.
So don't think, just look. What jumps out at you? Albert?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. Nothing.
Nothing seems weird.
Well, it's all weird, isn't it? I mean, but nothing's jumping out at me.
No, there's gotta be something. He went somewhere. He said he was gonna stop whatever it is from happening, and he went to go do that, and he never came back. No way does this guy not leave a paper trail.
Well, maybe it is here, but, well, I mean, you can't even read his writing most of the time. It's... And he's using this weird shorthand, almost like a code. How do you fit all this together?
You don't. At least I can't. I'm not up to this.
Well, I think you're being a bit harsh.
I'm being realistic. I'm not a detective, I'm a researcher for a podcast series. I don't have these skills. The cops, if they would engage with this, would have a whole team of people on this room for as long as it takes. This is just me. Let's go.
Well, I'm happy to help you out.
Go, Albert. I need some sleep. And then I need to see about getting a job I can actually handle.
This doorbell. Well, Henry has an app on his phone. It would alert him when someone came to the door, a proximity detector thing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but even if those alerts are switched off, if someone rings the doorbell... Have you tried ringing the doorbell? Wherever his phone is.
His phone is with whoever I disturbed here the other night. I rang the bell and I heard the phone go off inside.
Yeah, but if there wasn't someone here...
I told you the light was on and...
Oh, okay, then what if they didn't have his phone? What if the phone just happens to be somewhere in the house?
Okay.
Shall I press the button?
Let me go back inside and listen. Okay, press the button.
Shall I press it again?
Isn't that the definition of insanity? It was worth a try.
Where are we going
Hello?
exactly?
Mr. Akeley?
Up there somewhere?
Stop coming to my house.
I'd like to talk to you, Mr. Akeley.
He's perfectly all right. Perfectly all right. Please leave me alone.
We're worried about you.
You mustn't look for me.
Mr. Akeley? Hello?
No. There's no reason to be...
Henry?
Hold on.
This is the BBC.
This podcast is supported by advertising outside the UK.
Visible to the north after you leave. Okay.
BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
Lone Birch.
My research into Thomas Marston yielded some interesting results. Marston was a member of Amelia Fenner's coven in Suffolk, along with Henry Akeley, Tanya Ratcliffe, and Walter Brown. At first glance, Marston seemed like a minor figure. He committed suicide in 2015 at the age of 53, which makes him 18 years old when he participated in the ritual that the coven supposedly took part in over Christmas in 1980. Mary Marston, the little girl who murdered her family in 1935 on the site of what subsequently became the location of the Blake House incident, was Thomas Marston's first cousin once removed. If you climb higher up that family tree, you find yourself arriving in the town of Fressingfield in Suffolk, which is about 20 miles away from Rendlesham Forest. In 1645, one of Thomas Marston's ancestors, a woman called Faith Mills, was accused of witchcraft during Witchfinder General Matthew Hopkins' reign of terror. Mills, probably as a result of being tortured, confessed to having 3 familiars and was hanged. Given how unlikely it was that any of Matthew Hopkins' victims were actually practicing witches, there's a good chance that Faith Mills was innocent. Nonetheless, the accusation cast a long shadow over the Marston family. It's also interesting for our purposes to note that a few years later, Fressingfield held a congregational meeting to figure out how to deal with their supposed witch problem, and one of the visitors to that meeting was a John Tillinghast.
Well, I'm here. He's not here.
Tillinghast
There he
was
is.
known as
Never
a
mind.
fifth monarchist, which is to say that he was a member of an extreme Puritan sect that emerged in England after the Civil War. John's nephew was the fantastically named Pardon Tillinghast, who left England in 1645 and became one of the first settlers of Providence, Rhode Island. It's likely, therefore, that the Tillinghast who had the carriage accident in Niagara in 1869 was descended from him. All of this is scenery, really, unless you really believe that whatever strange things are going on today can actually be traced all the way back into the depths of the past. It's Thomas Marston's more recent history that is of interest. Following the ritual in Rendlesham Forest in 1980, Thomas appears to have suffered something of a psychological breakdown. His parents, fearing for his well-being, eventually shipped him off to America. Thomas, for whatever reason, although one suspects Amelia Fenner's involvement somehow, ended up in Providence, Rhode Island. Perhaps he was hooking up with Amelia Fenner's friends from her days in Joseph Kerwin's groups, or perhaps he was just hoping to start a new life. Either way, Thomas's mind was not yet healed from whatever damage it had sustained following the ritual in Rendlesham, and he sought
Where the hell did the
psychiatric
monster
help
go?
in Providence. In case you're not yet becoming suspicious of these coincidences, Thomas Marston's doctor was...
Hello, Dr. Willett.
I'm Matthew Hayward, and this is
There
The
we
Whisper in Darkness.
Thomas Marston, he saw things, you know.
And what did he see?
He saw the truth. And you know what they say about the truth, don't you?
That it sets you free.
That it sends you to prison. You hear the man before.
Godfrey Tillinghast.
No, he's not a good man.
He's dead. Thomas Marston is dead too.
Wow.
He hung himself.
Yes.
Why did he do that?
Yeah, now you expect a simple answer. One simple thing. Everyone is solved. Things.
Thomas Marston was involved in this because he was connected to the case of Charles Dexter Ward.
I once had a patient called Thomas Marston. He was cuckoo.
Was he cuckoo?
You're going round in circles to hear.
I want to
Nah,
know what
I hit you
Thomas
first,
saw in the forest in
bitch.
1980. That was the source of his problems,
I was
wasn't it?
once in a room, and I looked into a pit, an underground room, and there was a hole in the ground.
Yes, Charles Ward's laboratory with Dr. Allen.
Dr. Allen is not dead.
We've been over this, Dr. Willett.
In the pit, I saw demons or angels, and I think they're the same. There's a man here I have to talk to. He claims to be a psychiatrist, but I have never witnessed his credentials. He tells me that I am not a good conversationalist because he believes that one thing leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. But I say that is a very simplistic view. I say reality is a puzzle made up of fragments, and that in order to understand the puzzle, we must move across those fragments randomly. I have seen the face of God, and it is terrible.
Dr. Willett.
Thomas Marston saw God in the forest.
He saw God.
And now you picture a man with a beard and a halo, and his robes are flowing, and that is not God. I do not know who the man with the beard is.
So what did Thomas Marston see?
He saw the Mygo.
The what?
The abominable ones. The wild hunt. The heralds of the herald.
I don't understand.
And the herald is a clever one. He's here, he's there, he's not here, he's not there, shifting. You understand? A new face, a new name. What do you want him to be today? What does he need to be for you to invite him in?
Who are we talking about?
And he shall put on the semblance of man, the waxen mask and the robes that hide,
And come down from the world of seven suns to mock. You may call him Herb, or Lamb, or Babylon.
Babylon.
But these are not his names. These are the masks he wears, so no one recognizes the crawling chaos. They invite him in because they want money or power. But what is money to God? What is power to God? His real name is Nyarlathotep. And he is the end of all things.
I tried pinging this guy's phone, but it's not switched on. So then I looked at the service provider's records. That phone is not connected to the network for, 3 months?
This is Slide again, the cybersecurity expert.
No way can I find this guy. Sorry, Kay. There is something else you could try, though.
I'm listening.
The audio you got off that doorbell speaker? I know someone who might be able to clean up the recording and pull out the background.
That seems like the longest of shots.
Yep. You want to give it a try?
A chance to meet another raging nerd? How could I pass that up? And that's how come I'm in Cambridge. The university libraries here collect a lot of archive audio from around the world, and much of it arrives in pretty bad shape. So they employ a woman called Charlotte Davenport to clean it all up and restore it.
Call me Charlie.
Charlie is not the nerd I was expecting. She looks more like an artist or a writer, or... Actually, she looks like a librarian, but not one of the evil ones. I hand over the memory card that holds the recording of Henry Akeley from his doorbell. Charlie listens to it a couple of times, then...
There's some stuff there. You can see here on the waveform.
She points to her computer screen and shows me the kind of thing that Matt gets excited about. Graphical depictions of sound waves. This is the reason I don't get involved with post-production.
This is a man's voice.
Why does it just keep pausing like that? Like every half hour or so, it just pauses.
Don't get involved with post-production.
This is a man's voice, and these bits here are audio registering in the background of wherever he is.
And there's a way to pull that out.
Yes, there is. I just need to grab the noise profile.
Wait, what am I doing? I completely zoned out.
And then see how it renders out. I listened to a little bit of your show just, when I knew you were coming up.
Yeah?
But is it real?
I'm afraid so.
Oh, it's creepy.
It can be.
Hey, if you're into people disappearing, the woman who worked here before me just up and vanished.
Really?
Rachel Weir. Left one night, never came back.
Well,
met her once at a conference. She seemed pretty normal.
People disappear for all kinds of reasons.
Oh, here we go.
That's a recording of a recording, so it's hard to make out. Charlie was able to clean it up a little more, so I'm going to play that to you directly now, so you can hear the best version of it, and then you'll know what we're talking about.
Stop coming to my house.
What is that?
Listen again.
Is it a train?
I think it is. I think that because here it gets closer.
Okay, yes, I hear that.
You hear anything else about it?
Such as?
Okay, I'm kind of cheating because I can see it when I expand the waveform. You see these bright patches here? Those are the sound the train makes when it's hitting the joins in the rails.
Okay.
And see what happens here?
They're getting further apart.
Which means...
That I'm in a high school physics lesson? The train is slowing down.
It could be slowing down because it's coming into a station. A station near...
A church.
So, you're looking for somewhere that's near a church and a railway station, and somewhere that has a train arriving pretty much dead on 3 p.m. on the day in question.
Okay, I guess that narrows it down quite a bit. Do you know what that distortion is?
I can try to take it apart, but it might take a while.
Okay. And that kid giggling at the end.
Yeah?
It's a long shot. Can I play you something else?
Hey,
Yo.
And I play Charlie the recording of the number station we found, the Babylon recording. And Charlie loads the Babylon broadcast onto her computer and lines it up next to the other recording. Then I watch her monkey around with settings and filters until...
Same kid.
Are you sure?
I'm 90%. And I'll tell
use
you
the
what else,
gas.
I think that burst of static is the same too. Look, listen, if I slow down the static on the doorbell recording...
Wow.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
I was hoping you were going to tell me that.
I done goofed. I
Imagine
done
something
goofed.
more high-tech.
Eleanor Peck was in London to deliver a lecture on the history of witchcraft to a
So
group
what's
of
the
UCL
objective?
students. I managed to get her to come into the studio for an hour
Right
afterwards.
now, is getting up
the glamour of
into the
podcasting.
sky
Anyway,
Yes,
for a quest.
Nylathotep,
you've heard of this.
of course.
And I'm
It
not
dovetails
entirely
with that
positive
kooky
how
rubbish
to
we
get
were
up
talking
there.
about last year.
And
The,
what's that
Mesopotamia
audio?
Stuff. How does this get you closer to finding Henry Akeley?
This is the
I
Lovecraft
did warn
Investigations
Kennedy about getting
podcast I've been
sidetracked
listening
into
to.
Whatever nonsense Henry believed.
Yeah, but if we're going to find him, we'll find out what happened to him.
Oh.
We think understanding what he was into is going to be our best bet.
Okay. Which means I'm going to be doing all the heavy lifting again, am I?
You're the expert.
I need to climb the mountain.
So how does Nylathotep tie in with Henry?
Not
Dr.
entirely
Willett seems to
positive
think
how to
that
get up there.
Nyarlathotep.
Nylathotep.
Was another name for Babylon.
This is the same Dr. Willett who's locked up in Broadmoor for being completely balmy?
Hurry up, Bird.
Yeah, but he's also the same Dr. Willett who treated Thomas Master, another member of Amelia Fenner's group. Johnny had some kind of nervous breakdown following the
I
ritual.
have a lot of time
performed
to
in
do this.
So you're trying to tie Henry's disappearance into that Mesopotamia business and Martian?
I drank alcohol tonight,
I can do that
legally
for
this
you
time.
as a
Hell yeah.
fun exercise, but please bear in mind this is a web of conspiracy theories, not the real
What's the
world that
occasion?
sane people live in.
Understood.
And a question first.
What do you make
Thank
of
you,
the
bird.
Rendlesham Forest incident?
I have no idea. And I've thought about it a lot.
Not a lighthouse.
I don't think senior
Yeah,
US
chugging
officers
water
take
to
a
get to
lighthouse
develop my
business with
system
UFO
will-
and follow it around a forest for 2 nights on the trot.
Some kind of experimental gizmo then?
Makes sense.
Out of Orford Ness. Well, it's got to be possible. No one really knows what the Ministry of Defence
And I
were
was
doing in
celebrating my
1980, but it
birthday with my
seems
parents.
Convenient.
Oh,
Why
today?
does that bother you?
I
Well,
thought
it
your
wouldn't
birthday
account
was a
for
different
whatever
day.
ritual Henry Akeley and his friends were performing that night.
So, it doesn't fit your narrative.
I'm not sure we have a narrative yet.
I'm just saying, be careful. It's easy to take all these little puzzle pieces and slot them into
It
something
is.
that makes a nice picture but isn't necessarily accurate.
Duly noted.
Alright, so this is going to go all the way back and start again at the Necronomicon. As you know, Al-Hazred was a devotee of Ibn Quwaya. He went to Nineveh around 700
But today
AD
was
to
the day
try
they
to
were
find
both
the
free.
secrets
Makes
to
sense.
Ibn Quwaya's supposed
Well, I hope you had fun.
reincarnation magic. That didn't work out for him. So then
You're gonna drop it.
he heads out into the desert.
Don't drop it.
Now, the bit that we skimmed
Yeah,
over last
lol.
time was the part where Al-Hazred claims to have discovered a race of elder beings, some kind of pre-human race
When I
living
get down to
beneath
half
the
a
desert.
heart, I'll take my food.
Lots of cultures have this notion baked into their mythology.
Okay.
Atlantis being the most obvious. The basic idea is that before we were here, someone else was here.
So we're humans 2.0.
No, because people who believe this stuff all think that whoever came before was much more advanced in certain ways than we are.
When we say advanced,
Not like they had the internet, but like they could do more with their minds than we can.
you're talking about magic.
I am talking about magic. So, Al-Hazred finds these people living under the desert, and they supposedly teach him all about how they do what they do. And crucially, they
Watching
teach
reminds
him
me I
how
need
to
to
get in
play.
touch with them without having to go back to the desert.
And how's that?
Well, through a ritual. You see, these people didn't supposedly just die off, and they weren't literally
You do
living
need
in a
to play.
cave under
I
the desert.
agree.
What Al-Hazred found in the desert was some kind
You're
of
not really going to
portal
see much,
through which you
honestly.
travel to the
I'm mainly
dimension where these
focusing on
elder beings
shrines
hang
and
out.
picking up things
Right.
at the moment, but
Skepticism at this stage is
this was
good
along the way,
because-
so I figured I'd do
because
this
it
as
is all
well.
Bollocks. But there are actually a variety of theories as to just how
Then it would be helpful later
bollocks
on.
it is. One, it's bollocks. It's all just bollocks. There was no Al-Hazred, no Necronomicon. It's all just completely made up.
I don't think I'm going to
lean
make it
towards
far
this school
enough,
of thought
though.
because even in those instances where a bit of the Necronomicon has supposedly surfaced, it has
have 11
never
minutes to try to
been
get as
properly
far as I can.
authenticated. The second school of thought is the It's All True Brigade. They're mostly dangerous lunatics, some of whom you met last time around, and we talked about them. The secret societies, the Nazis, Joseph Kerwin's lot, and so on.
So I gotta get up there.
And then there's the third school
Don't
of thought.
have enough stamina to get up there, I think.
Go on.
Unless there's another way.
The third school of thought can be described in a nutshell, appropriately enough, as it's all bollocks because Nyarlathotep.
What does that mean?
Okay, so infinite universe, so much we don't know about it, blah blah
Nope,
blah.
dropping too much.
You might subscribe to a creation myth, depending on your chosen religion.
Alternate
but it's
idea.
all mostly benevolent, and there's a guy up there sitting on a cloud or whatever, and he made us all, and he's watching over the earth, etc., etc.
And he's not doing a great job.
I would agree with that. But now imagine instead of the benevolent beardy god, we had an entity called Azathoth. And the universe is actually the product of Azathoth's dreams.
This is a stretch.
Well, not for some people, it turns out. And to be fair,
Do I
it's
not
not
have
really
any more
that
flint?
different from believing that the world is a computer simulation. If you decide that's the model you're going to use, you'll find plenty of evidence to support it. Anyway,
Oh, I do.
Azathoth
Okay.
is asleep somewhere outside the cosmos, and everything we can see, hear, touch, feel is a
Ooh,
product
they're talking
of his
about the
dreams.
idiot guy.
Now,
Hell yeah.
Azathoth would like to experience this world he's created, but he can't because if he wakes up, it all ceases to exist. So, he has placed an avatar into the universe, his herald, whose name is Nyarlathotep.
He sent us his only son.
Exactly. But Nyarlathotep is not going to be turning water into wine.
Don't think I'm
or
going to
doing
make
the
it.
bit with
If
the
I jump, I'm probably
loaves
going to
and
fuck
fishes.
up.
What he's trying to do is to open a portal into the universe through which Azathoth can travel. And in order to do that, he needs our help.
Why?
Well, the idea goes that we are a product of
Azathoth's subconscious. He's imagining us, and that's a one-way thing. But if we attempt to communicate with him, then we could hold this universe in stasis and create a portal through which he could travel.
And what would happen then?
Death, destruction,
Oops,
madness.
did not mean to jump.
Mostly
to let
madness.
go.
Supposedly, the
I'm
mere
committed.
sight of anything
I've
from
committed.
Azathoth's dimension would send the human mind into absolute spasms of delirium. Our brains wouldn't be able to comprehend what we saw, and we'd go crazy.
Right, so why would anyone want to go along with that?
Actually, pretty much no one does. Even out there on the lunatic fringes of the occult,
Damn it.
no one's
Damn it.
particularly keen on
Damn
having
it.
Azathoth over.
Damn it.
Which is why Nyarlathotep doesn't use his real name.
He uses Babylon.
He uses whatever
That's
he
fine,
needs to
that's
use.
fine, that's fine,
Babylon,
that's fine, that's fine,
Satan,
that's fine.
Lan,
It's fine.
the angel
It's fine.
Gabriel.
That's actually
Whatever
fine.
it looks like, it'll do the trick.
I'm in a holding pattern.
Nyarlathotep is
That
not
works.
hiding his light under a bushel. If you've got a modicum of occult learning, you can summon something that will probably turn out to be a version of Nyarlathotep.
Really?
No, obviously not really, but that's the belief system of this third bollocks argument. None of this Ipkuaya, Babylon, Lamb, Martian stuff is real. It's all just a ruse by Nyarlathotep to get someone to open the portal and let Daddy come out to play.
Okay, so the likes of Barbara Sayers, Godfrey Tillinghast, Amelia Fenner...
They're in Group 2.
Right.
Group 1 is all bollocks. Group 2 believe in the elder beings and they're trying to summon them for knowledge or money or world domination or whatever, and opposing them are Group 3, who believe that the whole thing
I'm
is a
gonna need more
ruse by
peppers, I
Nyarlathotep
think.
to bring about the end of the universe in
If
a
I'm
mess of
gonna do
screaming
this,
insanity. Group
bare
3
minimum.
therefore make it their business to stop Group 2 from succeeding in any rituals that might inadvertently open up a portal for Azathoth to step through.
I think I have this.
Easy way to remember. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Right.
The Nazis are Group 2. They want the Ark of the Covenant because they think it will allow them to win the war.
up.
Group 3 is Indiana Jones, out to stop the Nazis getting the Ark because opening that thing is way more of a deal than the Nazis realise. Group 1 is us, the audience, munching on popcorn and enjoying the movie in the certain knowledge that it's all bollocks.
So, Dr. Willett's in Group 3.
I suspect Willett's too mad to be allowed into any of the groups. That woman Kennedy spoke to, Parker,
I don't know if I can
it
climb
sounds
this.
like whoever she works for would be in Group 3.
I was going to ask you
Probably
about that,
doing it
'cause
all wrong.
I know you're a skeptic.
The realist.
But how do you account for the lost
Yep.
time Kennedy experienced?
Could be any number of things. Post-hypnotic
How do I get up
suggestion,
there?
some kind of drug. Last year when she was with Shepley and Sayers, they did a real number on her. Who knows what they gave her or what lasting effects it could have. Parker is interesting though. She claimed to work for some kind of secret society within the establishment.
I just need
There
to get over
is
to
a historical
that
thread to be
shrine.
followed there. Some of it is factual, some myth or folklore, but it does illuminate these belief systems and it centres on Suffolk. So it's probably useful.
I'm all ears.
I'm all throat and it's parched. Can I get some more water? Sure.
I don't know how I'm going to do this.
I'm back in London at
I
Slide's
think it's a
place.
little too late now.
No geographical identifiers.
Jeez, calm down, Edward Snowden. I'd come back to see Slide with a slightly wild idea that I figured was worth a shot.
There is zero chance of this working.
I'm sure that's right.
I am a busy man.
Now, I'm pretty sure that's not true.
Hey, you don't understand a thing about how this stuff works.
Well, we're about to find out, aren't we? What I was
Give me
asking
one
Slide to
moment.
do
Maybe
from a
was to
different
play the
area?
static burst into his computer. like
This
the
is
code.
the only path, I think.
Loading a ZX Spectrum game off tape in 1982.
That's about the size of it.
Nothing will happen.
This argument had been going back and forth the whole time Slide had been digging
I'm
out
just gonna
bits of
look it
old
up real
tech and
quick.
cabling them up.
Ready to lose a bet?
We did not bet.
Shall we bet?
No.
Whatever. Give me the audio.
And?
So,
There's
going
no
to execute
ascending
this,
spell.
And then nothing's going to happen. Are you ready?
What I could do is try to make
hours.
something to help me ascend. Attach something to a shield, climb on the shield, surf on it, have it fly me up. But then chances are it'll fly me up way off in the wrong direction.
See?
What happened?
Nothing. That is what nothing happening looks like.
Wait. What does it say on the screen?
Wait,
message.
you can't ascend through that?
What does it say?
It's
No. Oh, wait. Yeah, you're right. Duh. Ascend, ascend.
It's not.
It says
I completely forgot that this is a thing. Thank you. I'm a goddamn idiot.
So let's look at all this again from the point of view of the Nyarlathotep theory.
Ugh.
Al-Hazred goes out into the desert and he somehow goes through this portal and he thinks he's meeting this race of elder beings.
But in fact, it's some kind of illusion.
Nyarlathotep and his minions.
He has minions?
Which self-respecting cosmic deity doesn't. So,
Silly.
according to that theory,
What the Necronomicon actually is an instruction manual for how to open the portal for Azathoth. So, we skip all the business about Alhazred being ripped apart by an invisible monster. Except to note that, according to the Nyarlathotep theory, this presumably happened because Alhazred realised what these instructions were really for and decided to give ending the world a hard pass. So, the Necronomicon is in the wind, and as you've discovered over the centuries, it somehow makes its way across the Middle East and into Europe, and then someone puts it on a ship which docks in Dunwich. The Witch Coven, who collected the book at Dunwich, clearly didn't know what they were doing. If we look at the Necronomicon as an instruction manual, we have to allow that it is insanely complicated and that it was written in a language that no one speaks anymore. So those witches were flying blind. According to legend, they attempted a ritual from the book, and Dunwich got wiped off the map. The Necronomicon drops off the radar again then, but it's safe to say it stays in Suffolk because there are a number of breaches there over the following centuries.
Breaches?
That would be the notion that people attempting the rituals laid out in the book are creating breaches in the fabric of reality and letting monsters through. Both sides of the argument, the Elder Beings believers and the Nyarlathotep people, seem to be under the impression that folkloric creatures are a symptom of these tears in the fabric of reality that are brought about when a ritual momentarily connects our universe with something beyond. Either this other dimension of the Elder Beings or else the dreamlands of Azathoth's imagination.
That's what I'll do.
And
Bird?
so we have this idea of the wild man of Orford, a man caught by fishermen, a merman who shares commonalities with the mermaid myths that pervade the area. And in fact, the Himalayan word, migu, which is what they call the Yeti, literally translates as wild men. So actually, we have this idea of a creature emerging from the surrounding landscape. Mer people in coastal Suffolk, the Yeti in the Himalayas, Bigfoot in the American forest.
If the Necronomicon was in Suffolk, how did tears appear in the reality of Tibet in America?
Well, I suppose because it's bollocks. I'm explaining the thinking of crazy people. I'm not Morpheus telling you the world is really a video game.
Right, point taken.
Anyway, in Suffolk, we have the wild men and mermaids, and then we have Black Shuck, or Great Shuck.
The big dog.
Yes, the big black dog. The embodiment of Satan, according to some. Sightings all over Suffolk, but quite well concentrated in the Rendlesham area, for those who enjoy coincidences. And then there were the Green Children, who appeared in the village of Woolpit in the 12th century. 2 kids with green skin who spoke an unknown language and claimed to come from another world. So this stuff's happening, and the assumption is that it's Necronomicon side effects. The book itself doesn't surface again until the late 1500s, when John Dee somehow makes contact with one of the Suffolk covens and ends up translating the Necronomicon into English. Dee bought into the whole Elder Beings thing, and he spread the word about it throughout the English establishment. Supposedly, Queen Elizabeth herself was on board, because Dee had convinced her that with the Elder Beings on side, she could defeat the French and the Spanish and whoever else she went to war with. Dee apparently performed a ritual from the Necronomicon to move the Spanish Armada off course. And that was seen as proof positive that England had beings from another dimension watching her back. Dee set up a network of covens all over East Anglia. When you look at where those covens were located, you see interconnecting ley lines that form a symbol of power designed to amplify what's now referred to as the Babylon working. The Group 3 people believe it to be the sigil of Nyarlathotep, obviously. When James I came to power, he set himself in opposition to Dee's whole plan. James believed that Elizabeth had been using Alhazred's spells against his mother, Mary, when she was imprisoned in Scotland. So James started actively hunting down these East Anglia covens. He wanted to wipe that Babylon symbol off the map. The likes of Matthew Hopkins and John Stern took that to the next level, rampaging through Essex, Suffolk and Norfolk, accusing people, mostly women, of witchcraft left, right and centre. Of course, we now know that most of those they persecuted were completely innocent. The real
I didn't miss
covens
the
had,
chest, did I?
supposedly gone underground. So, Hopkins and Stern
Doesn't look like it.
were a massive misfire. They achieved nothing at all beyond an alarming amount of violent misogyny. But there were those within the establishment who believed they understood the real dangers of the covens Dee had set up. These people believed the Nyarlathotep theory, and they were a little more tactical in their attempts to curtail it. According to this kind of shadow history, these people tracked down the real covens and disbanded them. If this secret society had a name at its inception, it's lost to time, and we only see glimpses of it through the English Civil War and into the Restoration and the Enlightenment.
No, there's no chest.
Wren and Hawksmoor, Isaac
Where's
Newton.
the chest?
A lot of the Royal Society thought to have been involved, but again, there's no evidence either way. It's possible Crowley had something to do with them in the early 20th century, but no one's ever really clear whose side he's on. It's likely that the being Crowley contacted, Lamb, was actually Nyarlathotep, but whether Crowley knew that or not, we don't know.
Is it in one of the boats?
That would explain why he was so against Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard performing the Babylon working in 1945. What we do know about our supposed secret society is that they stepped briefly out of the shadows during the 1930s and into the Second World War. Declassified military documents talk about operations against the Nazi occult gang by something
it's
referred
over
to as
there.
the Department of Works.
Hold on.
The Nazis, as we know, were after contact with the elder beings, and this Department of Works curtailed that. And supposedly, not just because they didn't want the Nazis to get their hands on some supernatural power, but because they thought Hitler and his mates were in danger of accidentally opening up the portal to Azathoth.
So they really were Indiana Jones.
Once again, this is a fairy tale.
Yeah, but as you've been at pains to point out in the past, the people who believe this stuff
Can be dangerous, yes. Anyway, the Department of Works shortened its name to the Department.
Not gonna get
and
the chest?
Allegedly,
I'm gonna try,
it
but I'm
still
trying to
exists.
figure out where
If
I can go to
that
get
were
a little
true,
bit higher.
I would guess that's who your Ms. Parker works for.
And that brings us up to the present day.
Thank God.
So, allowing that none of this is true, but that there are people
might
out
not
there
make
who
it.
believe it is.
Where are we
You
now?
probably get on the
Okay,
moving
so
ship.
the Babylon working, whatever
That's
anyone
kinda what I
actually
was
thinks
thinking.
it does, requires a lot of energy.
Yep,
That's why
not
Dean
happening.
went to so much effort to set up the East Anglia Covens in a specific geometric principle to channel and focus that energy.
On to where?
If you look at the maps, the centre of the sigil is Rendlesham Forest.
Nope,
So,
not
in
high enough. It
1980.
has to be
And there
this
we are again.
one.
I'm talking in theory.
Okay, from the point of view of the credulous, Amelia
Probably.
Fenner, Henry Akeley and the others performed a
land there.
version of the Babylon working, which, while nowhere near powerful enough to have its intended effect,
Wait for the
nonetheless
ship to get closer.
caused a small tear in the fabric of reality and let something through.
I think I can make it.
We good.
If you want to take that to something pretending to be a logical conclusion, whatever came through latched onto Henry for some reason, like baby geese identifying an inanimate object as mother, and that's why they were trying to get into his house.
Okay. And if that breach was somehow seen as a proof of concept?
No, I see where you're going.
Why is Lou naked?
The radio broadcast.
I'm trying to go through this bare minimum.
They were up to, and he said that right before he vanished.
So
That
you
gives
think
me something
someone
to
is
look at,
attempting
too.
the ritual on a larger scale.
Like I said,
Oh.
and everything you've been saying fits.
Of course it fits. It's supposed to fit. That's how conspiracy theories work.
PFFT.
But it's not real.
Them toes.
Exactly.
I see what you're doing.
What am I doing?
You're trying to get me to say something explosive and doom-laden so you can end the episode on a cliffhanger. The fact is, I'm going to sleep like a baby
That's
because
out
I
of the
know
way.
enough about all this stuff to know that it's a nonsense.
Now I need to
that
get
it's shared
someplace
by
so I
people
can
who don't have
get
a firm grasp on reality.
peppers.
And
I
who
just don't know where
desperately
peppers
need to
spawn
believe
the
that
most.
There are somehow cheat codes to life that will make up for all their shortcomings. It's Brexit for wizards.
Okay, but just for a moment, imagine that they're right. That there's a group of shadowy people out there who think they can achieve great power for themselves, for this country.
Brexit.
If they enact this Babylon working on a grand
There's
scale. in a
some
couple
on
of
the
days'
Great
time.
Sky
But in
Island
actual
diary.
fact,
Not fact.
that they've been
Yeah, I do
tricked
remember
by
that.
Nyarlathotep.
But
Nyarlathotep.
outside of there, I want to
Is
find
opening up a portal
like
to,
places that have
what
more
did you call
than
it?
just
Azathoth
those.
Dreamlands.
Yeah, yes.
So,
If it's all true,
if it's all
I just
true.
don't
Which it
remember
isn't.
which regions. Pretty sure over here, but I'm gonna need
it would be the end of the world. Don't you dare end on that.
clothing to do that, so I can't do that. Probably go here.
Surgeons keep our hearts beating. They do the amazing, help save lives, and so can you. Your CSL plasma donation can help create 24 critical life-saving medicines that can give Grandpa the chance for his heart to swell when he meets his new grandson, or give a bride the chance for her heart to skip a beat on her wedding day. Every plasma donation helps more than you know. Do the amazing. Help save lives. Donate today at your local CSL Plasma Center and be rewarded for your generosity.
This is the BBC.
This podcast is supported by advertising outside the UK.
BBC Sounds. Music, radio, podcasts.
This story started with a man going missing from his house in the Suffolk countryside. Despite all the different threads we have uncovered, the various investigative strands we've followed, we still don't know where Henry Akeley is. What we do now know is that we have about 18 hours before whatever plot Henry believed he was trying to stop reaches its conclusion. I'm Matthew Hayward.
I think there were some down there.
This is The Whisperer in Darkness.
I've just arrived at Walter Brown's house to find the place swarming with cops. Apparently, Walter put a shotgun in his mouth and blew his brains out about 3 hours ago. I'm keeping my distance because at some point the Ipswich police might show up, and if they recognize me as the person who was with Tanya Ratcliffe when she jumped off the cliff, I'm going to lose a day to answering questions. No way were the police going to give me any useful details about what happened to Walter Brown, and I didn't want to draw their attention by asking questions. Fortunately, I had an ace up my sleeve.
Hello?
Albert, it's Kennedy. I need a favor. I told Albert what had happened to Walter and asked him to come to Walter's house. I figured that the one person the police might open up to would be a vicar expressing concern about next of kin and so on.
I think if I go backwards, I'll find some. I think there were some up here too.
To see us together.
Probably not. I'll see you back at the vicarage.
No, the cleaner's in. I'll meet you at the church.
Sorry, miss. Can't park here.
It's okay, I'm leaving. Excuse me, officer? You might want to get someone to dig up the garden.
Maybe not.
What did they say?
Suicide. Shot himself.
Yeah.
Did he give any signs of...
No, but we've already established that the Walter Brown I was talking to was very different from the one you knew.
Well, you left a note.
Interesting. Did you see it?
No. I think there are limits to what the local vicar can legitimately ask for. But I inquired about next of kin, told them that Walter was a regular at the church.
You lied to the police, Albert.
Yes, I don't feel good about that.
I'm very proud of you.
But apparently in the note, Walter specified that everything should be left to someone called April Marston.
Marston?
Thomas's daughter.
I didn't know he had a daughter.
Well, I don't believe they were close. And given the psychological issues that preceded his suicide, I understand that April was raised by her mother.
Did Walter not have a family?
Not his wife. Disappeared. They didn't have children. I suppose Walter, Henry, Tanya Ratcliffe and Thomas Marston were all close at some point. Henry's son lives in France. Perhaps Walter felt like Thomas's daughter was the closest thing he had to next of kin.
I still need to get the sensor upgrade.
But why would he do that?
I have no idea. But I'm happy to add it to the growing list of things I don't understand, but may nonetheless be true.
Can I get the sensor upgrade right now?
Hey, Matt.
Hi. I thought you were avoiding me.
I am. Nothing personal, mate, but you're toxic.
Okay, thanks.
I need to give you a heads up. Needless to say, this conversation never happened.
Okay, is the line secure?
Yeah, I borrowed a scrambler, but I'm going to keep it brief anyway, and the less you talk, the less danger you're going to say a trigger word again.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I just had no way of knowing.
That's all right. Listen, a body has turned up.
Who?
There's no official ID yet, but I've seen the preliminary report, and it's Barbara Sayers.
Okay. Where?
Place called Al Khayara on the west bank of the Tigris.
So she didn't die of natural causes?
No, she did not. Blunt force trauma. Someone bopped her on the head with something heavy.
Okay, well, thanks for letting me know.
That's not what I'm letting you know, mate. Local cops reckon they've got dashcam footage from some local taxi driver that shows the deceased getting into a car with an unidentified female on the night they think she was murdered.
Oh, talk to Robbie?
That could be Melody Cartwright.
Robbie.
It's not. I've seen the footage.
Hold on.
And they might never get a positive ID, but I've seen the tape. It's Kennedy. Sorry, mate.
No, well, we don't know what...
Well, we do know, don't we? She goes AWOL, claims she was in a hospital, which she wasn't. I've listened to your show. I know what Barbara Sayers did to her. There's no judgment from me, mate, but it is what it is.
Well, actually, there's a chance that they messed with Kennedy's head, that she might not remember what she was doing.
Well, I've got a high-definition egg memoir for her right here. Look, it might come to nothing, because local Iraqi cops haven't got access to the kind of tech that's likely to ID Kennedy from this video. But they're circulating it, and we don't know what forensics are going to pull off the body yet. Maybe she walks away from this, maybe she doesn't. But I'd get out in front of this if I were you.
What does that mean?
It means cut her loose, walk away. You weren't there, you knew nothing about it. Your hands are clean. The longer you associate with Kennedy now, the grubbier those hands get. I'm sorry.
About 10 miles out of Rendlesham is the old market town of Saxmundham. It's a working town. Quiet by London standards, but it's one of the busier places in the area. Right now, I'm standing outside the primary school where April Marston teaches Year 5. I can see her talking to some of the other teachers as they supervise the lunch break. April is on Facebook, so I know she's 37 years old, is in a relationship, but I don't know who with, and I know she likes walking holidays, swing dancing, and videos where cats are frightened of cucumbers. You'd be hard-pressed to find anyone less likely to be involved in any of the stuff we're investigating. But April Marston is literally the only lead I have right now, so I'm going to keep tabs on her and see how it plays out.
Just give me the upgraded pad,
April stays
please.
in school for a couple of hours after the last kid has left, and then I follow her and some of her colleagues to a pub on the market square. April orders a lime and soda and chats with her colleagues for half an hour. Slide.
Congratulations, Kay. You have found the planet's most boring human.
I was getting that impression.
There is nothing
No,
here.
I
No
don't want
emails are
those.
Total snooze. Ditto are Facebook posts. Instagram is just pictures of walking holidays and these really irritating videos of cats. Bank accounts, credit cards, all her bills are paid on time. She doesn't owe anyone a penny. Her car passes its MOT every year with flying colours. If you asked me to
Okay.
make up an idea of the most boring person imaginable, they'd be more exciting than this.
It's a dead end.
If ever there was one, mate. She is gay, though, if that helps.
What does that mean?
It means she likes women. I'm clutching at straws. That is literally the only area in which she is not perfectly statistically average.
She can't be average. There has to be something.
Why does there?
Because her dad killed himself after believing he summoned aliens out of another dimension. Because she's from a long line of witches that goes back to the 17th century. Because her cousin murdered her entire family with a pair of scissors and burned the house down at the age of 11. She's just sitting here with a lime and soda and... You couldn't be that normal, could you? With a past like that?
Yes, actually.
She's on the move. Can you send me everything you found and CC it to Matt?
Done.
Thanks, lad. I follow April Marston back to an old detached house on the outskirts of town. The house is well kept and the front garden is full of bright flowers. It seems so obvious that April has nothing to do with any of this that I hesitate before even knocking on the door. Do I really want to risk dragging anyone else into this story? As it turns out, if I hadn't hesitated, I wouldn't have heard the church bell. Or the train. And suddenly, I realized that whatever April
God
Marston
damn, that
is,
old man goes
however
far.
average she appears to be,
In such a
she's
short
no
time.
innocent bystander. This is the house Henry Akeley was being held in. There's a track down the side of the house. I'm hoping to get a look at the back of the building. The garden has a back gate, which is padlocked, but by moving it a little, I can create a gap to see through. It's a really well-kept garden, big with old trees. The back of the house seems innocuous enough. If I can get a picture of it, I might be able to blow it up and see. Can I help you? No. A face had appeared in the gap, right in front of me. Hi. My phone seems to have sent me to the back of the house. This Maps app. Who are you? I'm looking for April Marston. Oh, I'm my wife. Oh, great. I'm in the right place. How do I... should I come around the front? Is it this way?
This? God, I have no idea where I am right now.
Kennedy, hi.
I need you to hit record on this call.
Where are you?
April Marston's house in Saxmundham. I think this is where Henry Akeley is, or at least was.
I'm using an interactive map as well for this, so I'm trying to mark off the things that I have and
Kennedy,
have not
wait.
done.
No time. I'll call you back.
I'm having issues trying to figure out which one this is.
I'm Isabel. Edward's upstairs at the moment. What's this regarding?
It's a
Done.
school thing. I said I'd drop by if I got the chance.
Oh, of course, yes. Come in.
Actually, it is already 11 o'clock. Yes, it's already 11 o'clock. Fuck. That was fast.
I'm fine. You sure?
I'll go ahead and stop here for tonight.
Easy enough to
Come back to this tomorrow.
Yes, then.
Same goes for the Cthulhu stuff. It's been fun. Thanks for stopping by. I guess, I'll see ya when I see ya. Let's get some music going. Okay. Have a good night.